Welcome back. 4 people are running for mayor of Myrtle Beach. Incumbent John Rhodes, also Bill Howard, who's run before, Jerry Fouts, and another person who's run before, Robert Palmer. He came in recently to talk about why he's running. Joining me now is Robert Palmer, one of 4 people running for mayor of Myrtle Beach. He joined John Rhodes, Jerry Fout, and Bill Howard. Thanks for being with us this morning. You ran for city council last time around. This time you decided to run for mayor. For people who don't know who you are, a lot of people think Robert Palmer's the singer with the pretty backup dancers, but apparently you're a mayoral candidate.
Okay, Tim, yeah, thanks for having me, and hello to everybody out there. And by the way, I am not the dead singer, although I wish I had some of his money. It might have helped me in this campaign financing. But that being said, yes, I did run for city council 2 years ago. I'm running for mayor now for specific reasons, obviously, and I'm asking for the support of the constituents out there.
Why are you running then?
Basically, Tim, I have a couple issues, service issues for the people, and a couple of those issues are cutting some fees as far as stormwater management fees. I also would actually like to see a two-time-a-week trash collection during the summer season. I came from a resort town. I was in a governing body on a resort town. I'm familiar with how things work and what people like to have that live here and what people like to have that come here.
What is not being, other than trash pickup, things like that, what isn't being done now that you think needs to change that's taken you to the point where you decided to go ahead and file your candidacy?
Well, Tim, I'll tell you, and I hate this to be old hat, but I'd like to speak just a minute on the tourism tax, which generates about $22 million a year out of the city. 20% of that goes back to the taxpayers and tax relief. There's about 6,000 homeowners that benefit on that. This tax fund is a huge fund. It's a huge amount of money, and I feel the stewardship is not there of where this money is going. It needs to be traced. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be audited. Am I against a sales tax? I don't know. It never was put to referendum, which once again, I think that should have been. Let me just touch base real quick on a sales tax. It's basically a use tax. And the good thing about a use tax is the individual has an option how much tax they want to pay. If somebody wants to buy a $50,000 car in the city, then they're going to pay $500 in tourism tax, if you will. If somebody wants to buy a $30,000 car, well, they're only paying $300. So it's the individual's prerogative how that's used. However, I think the city and the governing body should take a look at, and hypothetically again, these stormwater fallouts for storm sewer. The bacteria level in our water is extremely high. It's terrible publicity. It's just a bad thing for tourism. Some of this money, I think, should go to increase our outfalls, clean our water up first before we invite taxpayers here. Tourists here. Apologize.
That's okay. What about crime? That's another issue that a lot of that some candidates are bringing up this time around. How do you see crime? Do you think crime's being fought well enough in the city?
Tim, once again, in a tourist area, crime is crime. It's difficult with a police department because you have such an influx. As the year goes, all of a sudden your police department is overwhelmed with tourists. During the winter months, it's like slow. Is the crime being addressed? I think it is. Maybe we should look a little further. I was reading in the Sun-Times the other day about some bar owners want to open a bar down in certain areas of the city, and they're worried about police protection and whatnot. It needs to be looked at. Anything can be improved, Tim.
The last question for you I have for everybody, why should I vote for you?
I think you asked me that question 2 years ago.
I did. I'll ask it to you 2 or 4 years
basically, from now. I'm not anybody's gift to solving all the problems. However, I do come from a resort town. I have extensive background. I ran the Revenue and Finance Department to the tune of $8 billion tax rateable base. I ran the Public Works Department. I ran the Water and Sewer Department. I ran the Beach Department. So I think me as a person with my knowledge in beach and resorts is a plus. We didn't have a city manager. We did the work. So I know what I'm looking at.
All right. Robert Palmer, thanks for joining us. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Jay Stamper, a Democrat who wants to unseat Senator Lindsey Graham. We'll be right back.